It's a question we all want answering. Is the pandemic over and can I now stop washing my hands? Andrew?
Well, I mean, it's always your choice whether you wash it. I would advise anyway, out of just sheer hygiene, to wash your hands. Keep yourself clean.
Okay.
Steve, that's what I would say to you there.
Controversial.
This is a story in the Telegraph about Sage being stood down now, which is kind of taken to be the end of the COVID pandemic. This is sort of a major point. And this is part of Downing Street's Living with COVID plan. And it's important that this happens. And one of the key factors about this is that Sage has been continually wrong with its modelling. And Sage has been relying on modelling all the time, which now even, I think it's Graham Medley, who's Professor Graham Medley, the chairman of the Scientific Pandemic Influenza Group on Modelling, which is a subgroup of Sage, even he has said modelling is effectively guesswork. Right? And we saw just how wrong Sage were. I mean, before Christmas, they were talking about infections hitting 2 million a day. They were talking about how hospitalisations could peak between 3,000 and 10,000 a day, with deaths between 600 and 6,000. Now, we now know that was way off. And it's not the first time that Sage have been way off. So they are continually in error. They've acknowledged that they are continually in error. We just have to accept that the modelling system doesn't work. But the reason why that matters more is because it directly influences policy. In this case, the Tories didn't go along with the advice, which has actually turned out that was correct. But in a lot of cases, they have. And so, I think we just have to get to the point where we say, Sage, for all the good intentions, I'm sure, they got it wrong continually. And so, therefore, it's right that they stand down at this point.
But is it possibly a misunderstanding of what modelling is, that you can get a range of various models, because some of the inputs, some of the variables you don't know, and that's where the guesswork is, because you can model all these different scenarios. Picking a scenario is guesswork. Is the problem with the way in which politicians use modelling often to get a good headline or to justify something they wanted to do anyway?
No, I thought that was what happening. I think we've forgotten what was happening before Christmas when, it was all strategic. That's not to say that I don't think that hindsight, things had gone wrong. And, are you going to COVID fair? Parsley, sage, rosemary, we've run out of time on this story.
I didn't realise you were doing a musical theatre.
Yes, musical theatre.
OK.
Need to get that song cleared. Can we do that? I'm not sure. We have to pay extra royalties now.
Yes. But, on hindsight, obviously, we can, I don't want to play that game. I think I just want to move forward. We've got other things to worry about.
Well,
now.
I mean, I think the thing to point out about this is, you make a fair point, but I would say that, and it's not, I'm not saying we should pin the blame on Sage or say that there was any, but, when Fraser, you remember Fraser Nelson from The Spectator got into a discussion with Graham Medley over Twitter, and he said to Fraser Nelson, well, actually, we were only ever giving the worst-case scenario to the government because that was all the government were asking for. So it's not like I'm saying the government are absolved of responsibility here for how wildly things were off.
Yeah. Well,
so.
Hindsight makes modelling a whole lot better. That's what if I should get another job, it will be retrospective modelling.
Just model after it's happened.
Yeah.
That's the way to deal with it.
Career.